Hey guys, Mark Ferrasci, ProTech Dog Training. Excuse the subdued lighting, but we're getting ready to hit the hay and going to get up early tomorrow morning, head down to my police scenario group and get the puppies out. I need to really start concentrating on Lucifer, who now has a name change per the customer's request. He's now going to be known as Luther, and that's an easy one for him because it's very similar to Lucifer. So Luther is going to go with me tomorrow morning, and so will Diogi, and probably take the Shep Malley. What the heck's his name? Excuse me, I'm a little tired, and it's been a long day. And I'll think of it when it at least comes to me. But I'll take the Shep Malley down with me, and we will go down and see how he does with all the dogs. That's what I'm down there for, to see what happens with his mental attitude with the dogs. He's going to end up being more personal protection, family protection. He could very well go to police. The dogs, he's a perfect dog for police dog, and the reason is his brain has been allowed to just be a crazy dog, and he's all instinct and everything else. I've had to come at him with aversives because it's the fastest and easiest way to do things. Teach him his communication baseboard, and the lights turning on slowly but surely, and he's going to be a hell of a dog. His natural instincts, that are raw instincts, just amazing. The hunt drive he showed me yesterday, he grabbed this ball off the ground and was looking for the ball in the field because he's just ball crazy. And the next thing I know, I'm looking at him and he would not quit. He was just everywhere. The ball wasn't out on the field. I'd put him in my pockets already, but his brain just went to that. He was looking everywhere for him. So I threw the ball for him, and me and the owner are talking, and so we're distracted and we're not kind of paying attention. He sensed that, so he went off and did his own thing. He grabbed the ball and he was jumping over the agility stuff on his own. It was great. And then, I've been working on him with it. At first, he was a clumsy oaf and just really lacked confidence and everything else. I take him out this afternoon, and the wacky boards, he went on his own and was just right away. And then what I did is, instead of trying to stay next to him and give him all that support you hear me talking about with puppies, he's an older dog. So I just kind of let him, I went hup and stood back at the end of the 6-foot leash and talked easy, and boom, it worked. He fell right into it. One of the things I want to kind of comment about, when you see me working the German Shepherd that I'm working, and then the Shep Malley. And the dogs are two different dogs distinctly. The Shep Malley is a different drives altogether, and he's about, I want to say, probably about, the owner said he was 11 months old. I think he's about 18 months old. So give or take, whatever. He's not quite 2 years old yet. He's going up on 2 years old. But I've approached the training totally different with both of them. I'm doing a little bit of the drive state with the Shepherd, because of the fact that the Shepherd needs to build drive. A little bit more drivey. I want him a little bit more drivey, so I'm going to use the same kind of thing I'm doing with the Shep Malley and get him in the ball and get him chasing and all that. He has a lot more food motivation. He likes hot dogs, so I'm going to be getting him into explosion releases, diving for the hands, using some luring and getting him into the luring aspect of things, and trying to get him up on the bowls and transition into more of a sport type of work, because the gentleman wanted the focused heel. The dog can do it, I think. Again, I think I mentioned it on one of my other videos. It's kind of debatable, because sometimes when you don't catch these drives when they're really young and they're imprintable, you won't get the dog to do a high step. You'll have missed that, right? But I will do the best I can to get his head up and get him to do that nice prancing and all that, and try to get the dog's drive state to be a little higher so that I can get the animation in there, and then I can catch it, right? And when I catch it, I can mark it. So the marking is real important. So we need to teach him no, good, and yes, and make sure he understands the marking, because that's what's going to tell him when he's doing the right thing. When I say yes, right, when he gives me the right thing and I time it right, I'm hoping that I can catch that and get him flowing with that focused heel type work. Okay, so but at the same time, the customer wants to go towards protection, so I pulled in some tug tonight to see how he do. He doesn't have a very good bite. He hasn't had his bite set, but he is going after the tug. He's got the drive to do the work, so it's just going to take some tricks and some work to get him in there. He's going to be a good dog, and he's going to do real well as well. But I'm approaching it a little different on both of them. So what I'm trying to get across is no two dogs are the same. No two methods that I have are ever the same. I feel this. It's in my gut. I work with a dog from my instincts more than I do any specific way of working the dog. I have all these minutia of tricks in the tool bag that I've acquired over the years that I can pull out anytime I want to. And most of this is coming from the perspective of feeling it, right? It's what I call the gut feeling of dog training. And it's something I've learned to rely on over the years. But at the same time, when I get around all these people that are doing specific types of training that I've been hanging around in the Schutzen methods and other things that they're doing, I'll pick up on those things. And they're just one little more thing to go in my bag that I might remember the next time I get a dog that might be more beneficial to that animal. And that's why I hang around so many different types of sports people, because there's so many tricks and so many methods with so many different people that work animals and work their dogs that I can learn from, right? And so when I go to these people to do the decoy work, or I pay these people, John Luke with his ring sport, things like this, I pick up on certain things that they're doing that I can try to apply to my dog when it comes time. Like the ring sports two-tug, where the dog always comes back to that second tug, and when you give him an out, that seems like the most common sense way to avoid conflict and get a dog to drop. And I've had several dogs that I've gone in and done hard outs with when I started to build the dogs, and I've had a hell of a, Joker's a good example of it, a hell of a time to get him out. So I keep going back to that, and I had Maury was really a hard outing dog. He didn't want to let go, and Joker at the same time, because I was into, going in and just kind of choking him off the bite, which creates a dog that really wants to hang on. They do that in KNVP. You see how they build those dogs? They usually always do some kind of a hard out, okay? But it's applicable to what KNVP is. KNVP is a certification for police dogs. Remember, with a police dog, they want the dog to hold and not let go until the suspect is contained by the officers, right? They've got to make sure that that suspect is contained so everybody's safe. And once that suspect is contained and they've got the suspect, then they can out the dog, and that's why they go to an hard out. Okay, or what they call a tactical out. It's a word that I should probably use more than the hard out. It's a tactical out, and that's what they call it in law enforcement, or a hard out. There's other names for it, but in a general sense, we're basically taking the dog's air away until they can't breathe, and then they open their mouth because they want to get a gasp of air. And right when they open their mouth, they take the dog's head away from the suspect and out of harm's way. And if they've got other officers, they'll communicate, okay, I'm going to swing him to the right or whatever. So they make sure that nobody gets rebit. Remember, the drive states of the animal are a lot more tremendous when he's been in a real fight, right? When these drive states that we build to do the work really on the street, you need to do some of these tactical type of methods to make sure that everybody's safe. Okay, the dog is an animal. Okay, regardless of what people want to humanize the animal and humanize it to the point where they want a foo-foo sitting on their couch, and their attitudes are coming from a humanization. Okay, from humanizing the dog, even to the aspect of saying that some of the methods we use when we use aversives and things are cruel, and they want to take away our tools and all that. Reality and truth, we've had dogs that have been bred for a purpose, and when these dogs that are bred for a purpose, your Malinois, your Dutch Shepherds, your pity breeds, some of these breeds, their drive states are way high. So you really have to understand what you're doing, and you have to be able to deal with that. And we need the tools to be able to deal with that in that regards. A lot of times. I'd like to talk about this more so that I can try to educate the general public a little bit more, so that when we get into the situation where it's coming, okay, where we end up having to fight the fight and to communicate and make our points of view a little bit more plain in the structure that's going to happen when they start trying to do this. They always talk science. And it's everything on paper, all this wordage, and it makes them sound really sophisticated and all this. And a lot of times these people are nothing but scientists that sit on paper. They don't really have the dogs in their hand. They don't understand that dog sitting in front of them and really have worked with that dog. Do they have a lot of knowledge and things we can learn from? Oh yeah, science is science. You can't disavow science, right? But at the same time, somebody that has experience like me and other trainers that really understand what they're doing, understand the full nature of the dog to a higher degree in a lot of ways, and we understand that we're saving animals. You have to understand that a lot of times the last resort is is doing something with an aversive or some kind of corrective measure that's going to fix the dog. And if you don't fix the dog, he's going to be put down, okay? And on the other side, the purely positive people with their bleeding hearts, they end up saying, we can't fix it, and they tell you to take the dog to the pound, or they call it a dangerous dog, they label it whatever, and they give up on the animal, and they basically have the dog go to the pound and he gets put down. Whereas a good trainer can fix the problem. We can save that dog's life and give the dog a life. The other thing that training does that you guys may not stop and think about, it gives the dog freedom. Okay, he can now be so well mannered that the people are going to want to take him out of the backyard, get him out in public, and they're going to enjoy the dog's company. And now he's going to get a lot more freedom in life instead of being stuck in the backyard because he doesn't know how to mind and doesn't have any ability to contain himself in that regard. So keep it in mind. I thank you very much. Like I said, I'm a little tired, so I better stop yakking because I get a little fragmented in my thoughts and I'm all over the place. But I hope you're enjoying my videos and that you're learning something. Some of you guys are really like to watch my videos. I may not have the numbers that some of the other people with the digital magic have, but I hope those that appreciate what I have to give do like to watch my videos and they learn something, and I love doing it. You know, it allows me to be able to watch back and see how I say things, and everything matters. You know, so I thank you very much, and you have a good day, and we will see you. Maybe we'll have some videos for you from tomorrow's sessions, but it's harder for me when I'm out there in the public like that to be able to get anything on film. I don't have anybody to follow along with a camera, so I have nobody filming me, but we'll be going down to our police scenario group with the puppies, and I'll be taking the Shep Malley with me as well. I thank you very much. Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog.